"How could you, father? How could you do this to me? How could you sleep with your own daughter?" Lily screamed. But Victor couldn't answer. He just walked away, ashamed of what he had done. Welcome to Selling Tales, where stories breathe, emotions speak, and imagination runs wild. Victor Johnson had always been a hard-working man. From the moment he'd met Emily, the love of his life, he knew he was destined to build a life for them. Emily, with her bright eyes and infectious smile, had brought warmth into his world. They married young, both driven by dreams of creating a family filled with love and stability. Together, they raised 4 daughters, each one a reflection of their enduring love. Their life was humble but content. Victor ran a small barbering salon, a place where the rhythmic sound of clippers echoed through the day. Emily, his steadfast partner, sold tomatoes at the local markets, her store overflowing with the fruits of her hard work. Despite their modest means, they found joy in their little world. They were a family, fierce in their bond, unwavering in their love for one another. But life, as it often does, changed unexpectedly. One chilly morning, Emily woke up complaining of a persistent pain in her side. At first, Victor thought it was just the usual fatigue from a long day at the market, but as the days passed, her condition worsened. She could barely stand, let alone walk. Fear crept into their home, and after several visits to the doctor, they received the grim diagnosis: Emily has cancer. The world seemed to stop. Victor was desperate. He sought every means possible to get the money for her surgery. He borrowed from friends, tapped into savings, and even considered taking a loan, but the money was never enough. With each passing day, Emily grew weaker, and despite his efforts, Victor couldn't save her. Then, on a rainy evening, Emily passed away, leaving behind her 4 daughters, Lily, Grace, Ava, and Maya, young teenagers who had already experienced more pain than any child should. They clung to their fathers, their tears mingling with his, but no amount of crying could fill the emptiness that suddenly engulfed their home. Victor was left to face the harsh truth of his new reality. His heart broke for his daughters, who had lost their mother too soon, and for himself. The woman he had loved with every fiber of his being was now gone. He felt the weight of the world upon his shoulders. Grief-stricken but determined, Victor tried his best to fill the role of both mother and father. The small barbering salon, once enough to sustain their family, could no longer support them. Without Emily's income from the markets, Victor's earnings barely covered the basic necessities. The weight of raising 4 daughters, each with her own needs and dreams, weighed heavily on him. He began working as a laborer, taking on grueling shifts that stretched late into the night. Each day, he would drag himself home exhausted, his hands calloused and worn from the hard labor. But there was always one thing he would do before bed. He would cook dinner for his daughters. In those quiet moments, as he prepared their meals, he would remind himself that no matter how tired he was, no matter how much the world had taken from him, he would never let them go hungry. But no matter how much he tried, the burden of single-handedly raising them was beginning to take its toll. His body ached from the work, his spirit drained by the constant battle to stay afloat. Yet his love for his daughters was unwavering. In the quiet hours of the night, as his daughters slept peacefully in their rooms, Victor would sit alone at the kitchen table, staring into the darkness, his mind consumed with worry. How could he continue? How could he give his daughters a better life when his own was so burdened with loss? The future seemed uncertain, and his heart longed for the days when he and Emily had dreamed together. Those dreams now felt so distant, buried under the weight of his responsibilities. But as he watched his daughters' faces, their innocent eyes, still hopeful despite everything, he knew one thing for certain: he would keep fighting no matter what. Victor kept hustling, doing his best to provide for his 4 daughters. Life had become a daily grind, working long hours at the barbering salon and taking on extra laborer jobs. But despite his efforts, He still struggled to make ends meet. One day, as he walked towards his barber shop, a car pulled up beside him. A well-dressed man in his late 40s stepped out and called out, "Hey, Victor!" Victor stopped in his tracks, squinting at the man. "Do I know you?" he asked. The man smiled. "Don't you remember me, Victor? It's Daniel, your best friend from high school." Victor's eyes widened in disbelief. "Danny, is that you?" he exclaimed. "Oh my God!" He rushed forward and hugged him tightly. "I can't believe I'm seeing you right now." Daniel laughed and pulled back, studying his old friend. "How are you looking so ragged, Victor? Things were going well for you back then. Brandy, what happened?" Victor sighed deeply, his voice heavy with grief. He explained how everything had fallen apart since Emily's death, how he lost his well-paying job, and how he struggled to raise his daughters alone. Daniel's expression softened with sympathy. "Here, take this," Daniel said, handing him a bundle of cash. "I can see you're going through a tough time. I also want to catch up before I leave the country. Call me tomorrow and let's talk more." Victor, overwhelmed by the kindness, accepted the money with a grateful smile. "Thank you so much, Daniel. I really appreciate this. Don't worry, I'll give you a call tomorrow." Later that night, after a long day of work, Victor lay awake in bed. He kept thinking about Daniel. How had he gotten so rich? Just a few years ago, they were equals. Yet, Daniel seemed to have everything. Meanwhile, Victor was stuck in the same place, raising 4 daughters on his own. The next day, he called Daniel, eager to meet him and find out how he had turned his life around. When he arrived at Daniel's place, he was greeted with warmth and offered a drink. The two old friends sat down and began to talk. Victor poured out his heart, telling Daniel everything: how he had lost his job, how his wife had died of cancer, and how he was struggling to support his daughters. "But Daniel, show me the way now. I need to make this money. Just take a good look at you. You're looking so good. How did you make all this money in just a couple of years? And I've been struggling all my life." Daniel listened intently, then leaned back with a grin. "Victor," Daniel said, "look at me. You're asking how I made all this money, right? Well, let me tell you. You don't want to know what I did to get here." Victor's eyes widened. "I'm willing to do anything. Just show me the way. I am tired of struggling, guy. I need to take care of my daughters." Daniel chuckled. "Alright then, meet me here next week at 10 p.m. I will show you how it's done. But you have to be ready to do whatever it takes. I'm warning you, bro." Victor didn't hesitate. "I swear, Daniel, I will do anything. Just show me the way." The following week, Victor arrived at Daniel's house at 10 p.m. True to his word, Daniel took him on a long drive into the mountains. When they arrived, Victor was shocked to find a dark temple with men dressed in red satin gowns gathered around. A man in front, the leader, welcomed Victor. "Welcome, new member," he said, his voice calm and commanding. Victor turned to Daniel, confused. "Why did you bring me here?" he asked. Daniel looked at him with cold eyes. "You said you'd do anything for money. This is how I made mine." Before Victor could speak again, the leader interrupted. "Don't worry, Victor. You will get everything you want and more. But there is a small price to pay." Victor frowned. "What price?" The leader leaned in, his voice slow. "You have 4 daughters. The rule is simple. They must never get married. This particular rule is very, very important. You will sleep with them, get them pregnant, and when they give birth, their children will be sacrificed to this altar. This is the price you pay for wealth, fame, and power. You see? That's simple." Victor recoiled in horror. "What? Are you out of your goddamn mind? You expect me to sleep with my daughters and offer their children as sacrifices for money? Are you okay, this man? I would rather die than do that." The leader's face remained cold. "That can be arranged," he said calmly. "But you must understand, Victor. If you don't follow the rules, you will die. A very painful death. There is no going back now. You are either with us or against us. Your choice." Victor stood frozen, his heart racing. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. His mind raced as he thought about his daughters, the innocent lives he was sworn to protect. But he couldn't ignore the overwhelming hunger for wealth and power that had consumed his life. Shaking his head in disbelief, Victor left the temple that night. His mind a storm of conflicting emotions. He couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about the choice he now faced: betray his daughters and secure his future, or refuse and live with the consequences. The pressure was unbearable. But what choice did he have? A week had passed since Victor's visit to the temple, and he still hadn't made a decision. The price they demanded from him was too high. His daughters were still so young, just teenagers. Lily, his eldest at 18, was about to go to the university. She had even passed her JAMB exams. Could she still have a future? One night, as Victor slept soundly in his bed, the room suddenly shifted. A shadow appeared before him. It was the leader of the cult, Orji. "You sleep soundly, Victor." Orji's voice echoed in the room. "You have not fulfilled what you were told to do. You have 24 hours to make your choice. Sleep with your daughters, and your money will flow like a river. Fail, and you will face the consequences for your disobedience." Victor jolted awake, his heart pounding. "Please, not my daughters. I can't do this to them. What father would do this to his own children?" "You have been warned, Victor. You have been warned," Orji said coldly. Before disappearing into the darkness, Victor was left shaking, unable to sleep. His mind raced. What was he supposed to do? He couldn't bear the poverty any longer, but the cost of wealth was his daughters, his own flesh and blood. The next night, trembling with fear and regret, Victor made the biggest decision of his life. He would carry out the instructions. He couldn't bear to live in poverty anymore. He started with Lily, his 18-year-old daughter. When she realized what he was doing, she cried in anguish. "How could you, father? How could you do this to me?" she screamed. But Victor couldn't answer. He just walked away, ashamed of what he had done. That night, when Victor returned to his room, he was stunned. Money flowed on his bed like a river. He couldn't believe his eyes. "So much money?" he whispered in disbelief. He threw the money in the air, overwhelmed with excitement. Victor quickly ordered a lavish meal for his daughters. The three young girls ate joyfully, unaware of what had transpired. But Lily couldn't stomach her food. She despised her father now, but she kept silent. With the money, Victor bought a luxurious house, just as he dreamed. He drove the best cars, ate the finest food, and traveled to exotic places, but he never forgot the rule. He continued to sleep with his daughters. Whenever they gave birth, he would take the children in the dead of night, performing incantations, and offer them to the temple. The joy had left his daughters. They lived in a gilded cage, never allowed to leave the house. They endured this horrible existence for over 3 years. They were resigned to their fate, getting pregnant by their father, only to have their children taken away before they could even hold them. One night, Ava, the second eldest, asked Lily, "Where do you think our father takes the children? We've been giving birth for over 3 years, but we never even get to see our babies properly before he takes them away." Lily, tears striking down her face, replied, "I don't know, Ava. I don't even have the strength to ask anymore. If someone had told me my father would do this to us, I would never have believed it." Ava, feeling hopeless, said, "It's okay, Lily. Everything will be fine. We just need to keep praying and hope one day we can escape this man calling himself our father. I want to end my life. I'm so tired." "Don't say that," Lily cried. "We have to keep praying. God will help us." Grace and Maya, overhearing, joined in. The four sisters wept together, with no one to turn to and nowhere to run. Meanwhile, Victor lived a carefree life, attending high-end parties, enjoying his newfound wealth and ignoring his daughter's pain. He never once cared about the suffering he caused. His daughters, trapped in their golden cage, kept praying for a way out, hoping one day they will be free from this curse. At 22, Lily met Casey, a handsome man on the internet. Despite their father's strict rules, Lily secretly saved money and bought herself a phone. They began texting and soon fell deeply in love. But Lily knew the consequences of defying her father's rule. They were forbidden to get married. Her fear grew, but Casey, sensing her struggle, suggested they run away. Lily, desperate to escape her father's control, agreed without hesitation. She shared her plan with her sisters, promising to return and help them escape Sunday. With their support, she packed her things, hugged them goodbye, and slipped out of the house that night where Casey was waiting. They ran to Casey's apartment, and there, Lily finally confided in him about the horror she'd endured. She told him how her father slept with her and her sisters, impregnating them before taking their children away. Casey had broken for Lily, promised to stand by her, and they decided to get married quickly. Within a week, Lily and Casey were married in a small church, filled with excitement and hope for their future again. But Victor, desperate and panicked, was searching everywhere for her. He knew the consequences of her marrying. His empire, built on the cult rules, would crumble. The cult leader soon summoned him. "You were warned, Victor," the leader said. "Your daughters are not to marry. You have broken that rule." "But she's not married, Great One. She just ran away from the house. I just don't know where she is." Victor cut in. "Your daughter has been married. You have broke the rule. Now your life is at risk. You must find Lily and kill her. Her blood will cleanse your sins and save your life. A sacrifice must be made. Ojimba, our ancient gods, demands a sacrifice. Your daughter's blood must be spilled. If you don't, it will be your own blood that is spilled. It's either her blood or yours. You have 2 days. 2 days to find her, or else you will take her place." Victor, trembling with fear, desperately searched the whole city for Lily, but she had vanished. He couldn't die now. Everything has been going well for him. He needed to find Lily immediately, but it seems she doesn't want to be found. 32 hours had passed with no signs of her, and his terror grew. He threatened his other daughters for answers, but they remained silent. Time was running out. Finally, 48 hours passed, and still, Lily was nowhere to be found. The cult leader appeared before Victor again. "Your time is up, Victor. It is time for your blood to be spilled. Please, give me more time, Great One. I will find her," Victor pleaded, but the leader raised his staff and struck him down. Victor was dead. The next morning, Victor's daughter found his lifeless body. Strangely, they didn't mourn. Instead, they felt relief. The storm of their father's terror was finally over. But as they looked at each other, they knew that the storm was far from over. They had survived their father's horrors, but the storm is far from over. Lily's peaceful life with Casey was soon disturbed by disturbing dreams. She saw visions of her father killing her siblings, and the nightmares tormented her. Worried, she confided in Casey, who promised to help. He took her to a pastor, a man known for his spiritual wisdom and deliverance powers. When they arrived, the pastor listened intently as Lily shared her dreams and the horrors of her past. After praying, the pastor revealed a shocking truth. "Your father was part of a dangerous secret cult," the pastor said. "He was bound by dark forces, and in exchange for wealth and power, he was required to sleep with his daughters and offer their children as sacrifice. This was the price he had to pay for his success." Lily was in disbelief. But how could he do that? How could he be so evil? The pastor's expression softened. "Your father was consumed by power, and in his desperation, he sacrificed everything, including his soul. But your sisters are still in danger. The forces surrounding your father can affect them too, and even you. You need deliverance." Lily was shaking, but the pastor's next words gave her hope. "You got married, and that broke the cult's grip on you. And yes, your father is dead because you got married. It was forbidden that none of his daughters will ever get married. And since you got married, they took your father's life as punishment for breaking the sacred rule. For he died so that you could live." Lily's heart soared with a mix of relief and sadness. Her father was gone, but the price had been too high. The pastor continued, "Now, It is time to break the chains that bind you and your sisters. Bring them to me, and we will pray for their freedom." Excited and full of hope, Lily went to her sisters. They hugged her tightly when they saw her. Overjoyed to be reunited, she promised them that they would be free of the curse that haunted them for so long. The next day, they all went to the pastor, who anointed them with oil, prayed fervently, and broke the shackles of the evil forces that had held them captive. For the first time in years, the sisters felt light, free from the dark power that had controlled their lives. In the months that followed, the four sisters began new lives. Within a year, they were all married in a grand ceremony, surrounded by love and joy. They missed their mother dearly, wishing she could have seen them in their new lives, free from the darkness that had consumed their family. But they knew that she was watching over them from heaven. Though the pain of the past would never fully disappear, the sisters found solace in the love and support of their husbands and the strength they had gained through their trials. The story of Lily and his sisters is one of resilience and redemption. It teaches us that even in the darkest of times, there is hope for freedom and healing. No matter how much we suffer, no matter how broken we may feel, we can always break free from the chains that bind us, whether it is fear, abuse, or the weight of the past. The key is to seek help and to find strength to break free. The key is to seek help, to find the strength to break free, and to never lose faith in the possibility of a better future. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate each one of you for sticking with the story. Your support means a lot, and I'm excited to share more with you soon. If you were in Lily's shoes, would you have found the courage to escape your father's control? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Much love to you all. Bye!